Welcome to Play This Hand with Me mini lesson. Today we're going to be looking at Declare's hand, but I want to start with the bidding because just as we do on defense as declarer, the first thing you want to do is review the auction. So let's start there and then we'll get into the actual play of the hand today. East is dealer and East opens up one spade. And South, take a look at South. This is going to be your hand. This is going to be your hand as declarer and your hand in the bidding. And as South, you have quite a big hand here. Let's see. I would take out that Jack of Spades with East one spade bid. Remember, you want to take out the quacks. Anytime your opponents bid a suit and you have a queen or a jack in that suit or a queen jack in that suit, you take those points out. So first thing I do is subtract out that 1 point for the jack because East opened the bidding one spade. Then I would count 5 high card points in hearts plus 1 link point is 6, 4 points in diamonds, and 8 points in the club suit, which brings me to 18. So I'm too big to make what we call a simple overcall. If I were to choose to bid 2 hearts here, 1 spade by East, 2 hearts by South, my upper limit there is going to be 16, 17, right? It's 11 to 16 basically is the max. Occasionally, a bad shaped hand, I could maybe see a 17 fitting in there, but generally it's 11 to 16. So when your upper range, as South's upper range here, is too much for what we call a simple overcall, then we have to plan on doubling and originating. So that's what South does here. They're going to plan on doubling and then coming back when it's their second turn to bid and originating their own suit. And we'll talk about, well, how does North think about that when we get there? So South doubles, West passes, and let's talk about advancing a takeout double. First thing you have to do as advancer to a takeout double is decide if you're going to come in a suit contract or if you're going to come in a no trump contract. Now in this case, North is going to want to bid diamonds, right? So they're going to come in a suit contract. So when you're advancing a takeout double in a suit, your ranges are 0 to 8, 9 to 11, and 12 or more. If you have 0 to 8, you just bid at the lowest level. I'm going to put LL there for lowest level. If you have 9 to 11, you want to jump around, right? Jump a level. And if you have 12 or more, get your partnership to gain. So let's evaluate North's hand. North doesn't have any wasted values in spades, so we're going to count 5 points in hearts and 2 points in diamonds plus a link point is 3. And that's going to give us a total of 8. So we're right at the max of the 0 to 8 range. So we don't want to go jumping anywhere, skipping anywhere. We're just going to bid a very nice, calm 2 diamond bid. East passes, and here's where South comes back and originates the 2 heart bid. Now here's North's thinking when they hear South double. North bid their diamonds, and South come back and say, no, I don't want to hear about your diamonds, partner. I have at least 5 hearts. What do you think? Well, North has to sit there and think, well, why didn't they just bid 2 hearts? Why did they go through this double? If they have 5 or more hearts, why didn't they just bid 2 hearts? Well, it's because they have too many points. They have 17 plus points. So over the 2 heart bid, since North is at their upper level of their 0 to 8 points, and they can do the math, if partner has 17 plus points with 8 points in North's hand, there's a possibility of gain. So North doesn't want to just pass 2 hearts. North goes on and raises to 3 hearts. And South says, that's good enough for me. If you like hearts, my hand is good enough to be in game. And South raises on to 4 hearts. And it goes all pass. Now we have to make it. All right, now we have to make it. So let's erase all of this pen mark here. And now you're in South's chair. You're playing the contract of 4 hearts, and West leads out the 4 of spades, and North comes up. So this is how we're going to think about. Well, you know what? Let's give you an opportunity to count your losers. South would be the master hand. And remember, when you are in a trump contract, you want to draw a little dividing line between you and the dummy. And you count your losers in one hand only. In one hand only. So let's start counting some losers in South's hand. When you find a loser in South's hand, that's when you look over to the dummy to see if dummy has any cards we call cover cards. CC, cover cards. So go suit by suit by suit, and go ahead and use your chat box to tell me how many losers do you have in each of your suits in South's hand. I'd say definitely 2 spade losers. I agree. Hearts are looking pretty solid. We have a couple of heart losers, but North has 2 cover cards, the King, Queen of Hearts. Okay, so no heart losers. Diamonds, I would count 1 diamond loser. That 5 of diamonds looks like a loser to me. And then the Jack, 7 of clubs will be some losers. All right, so let's total up our losers here. 4, 5, 6, 2, 4, 5. 5 losers. And we can only have 3. So we need to get rid of 2 losers to make our contract. All right, so where do we go? The 2 spade losers we're going to lose, right? They're going to take them right away. And the diamond loser we have to lose. There's nothing we can do about that. We don't have any extra winners in the North hand to discard the 5 of diamonds away. So our issue cards become the Jack, 7 of clubs. What are we going to do with the Jack, 7 of clubs? Now we have the 5 types of techniques that we use in no trump, plus 2 additional ones for suits. Okay, those 2 additional techniques in the suit contract are discarding. And I just mentioned, well, North doesn't have any extra winners over in North's hand that we could discard the Jack, 7 of clubs away on. So we're going to use the trumping technique. We're going to trump the Jack of clubs and the 7 of clubs in North's hand. Okay, so the trumping technique is what we're using on our working suit. Clubs is our working suit. The Jack, 7 of clubs are our issue cards. And our technique to eliminate them is going to be trumping. Well, that should be easy enough, right? We need to just get 2 clubs trumped with 2 hearts in North's hand. So let's see how the first trick goes. It goes 4 spades, 2 of spades by North. East plays the Queen of spades, and we follow with the 10 of spades as South. East now continues with the Ace of spades. We follow with the Jack. West follows with the 6, and North follows with the 8. Now here is the critical decision. East then leads the King of spades. And now it's our turn to play. So what do you think? What are you thinking here? We've identified our working suit as clubs. We've identified that we need to trump with the Jack. We need to trump the Jack and the 7 of clubs with North's hearts in the dummy. But what else could be going on with this hand? What do we think could be happening here? East did open 1 spade, and no one else bid spades after that. Do we have this is one, we always as declarers say, what could go wrong? What could be going on in this hand? Go ahead and put your answers in that chat box up there. What could go wrong? What do you think? Yeah, exactly. Yeah, West may be trumping spades, in which case South needs to trump high. And if we start trumping high at this point, say we trump with, well, the ace, jack, 10, 9 are all equal. So let's say we trump with the ace of hearts, just in case West is out of hearts. And then, excuse me, if West is out of spades. And then we go about trumping our clubs and the dummy, because, right, we can't pull trump. We have an exception to pulling trump here, because if we play 3 rounds of trump, we can no longer trump our jack 7 of clubs. So, all right, so we have a trumping technique. It's an exception to pulling trump, because if we play 3 rounds of hearts, we don't have any left in North's hand to trump our jack 7 of clubs, right? It all comes back to, it's the story of the jack 7 of clubs. So if we start trumping and we trump the jack 7 of clubs with the king queen of hearts, and we've already ruffed high, we might now be looking at a trump loser that we weren't planning on. So let's go back to trick 1 and try to read some spot cards. And that's going to be part of your homework after this mini lesson today. Go back to trick 1. Now I have it still on the screen, so life is good here. But when we're in play, that trick 1 has folded over, and we're in the middle of trick 2 now, and we're desperately trying to remember the original card that West led. And then go back to what we know about opening leads. If West was leading from the 4 and the 6 doubleton, what would they lead originally? Go ahead and pop that in your questions box there. If West held the 6 and the 4 by themselves, that's all they had, which spot card would we have led on opening lead? Playing standard signals. Exactly, we would have started with the 6. So we actually have some encouraging news as declare, but we have to be paying attention that because West, we've seen the 4, 6 of cards come out of West's hand, and they didn't lead the 6 to begin with, that West must have at least one other spade in their hand because of the opening lead. But oftentimes we get into trick 2 or trick 3, or maybe it's even trick 7 or 10, and we have to go all the way back to trick 1 to remember the original spot card led. All right, so I'll give you your homework in just a minute. You're gonna have some work to do. All right, so now we know, because we remember the 4 of spades was led originally, and then West followed with the 6 of spades on the second trick, that we can actually trump low here. We want to go through the thought process of what could go wrong and say to ourselves, oh, well, West could overruff here. Maybe we need to consider trumping high. But then take a little breath, slow it down, and say, well, what do I know about West's holding? What was their original lead? And it was the 4 in this case, and then they followed with the 6. So that's a very telling sign that they have at least 3 cards in their hand. I would say in this case, because of the 1 spade opener by East, that West has exactly 3 spades in their hand. We have that clue as well. And so I don't want to ruff high, trump high, when I don't need to. So I trump low with my 3 of hearts, and then go right about trumping my clubs. Because I have to get them trumped. I can't pull trump. I can't afford to pull trump. So I cash the ace of clubs, cash the king of clubs, and trump my 7 of clubs with my king, right? And now I do need clubs to follow twice around the table. If somebody trumps my second round of clubs, I couldn't ever make 4 hearts. No one in the room could make 4 hearts. So yes, I do need 2 rounds of clubs to follow. And then on the third round, I'm going to go ahead and trump high over there, because look at my hearts in my hand now, right? I don't have that 3 hanging around anymore because it was safe to trump with it at trick 3. Come back to my hand, travel back to my hand with a diamond, and trump that jack of clubs, right? Taking care of my losers with the king of hearts, or the queen of hearts rather, whichever I didn't use originally. And now pull trump, right? I've taken care of my issue cards. So I play the 4 of hearts over to the ace, pull however many hearts I need, and ultimately give them that 5 of diamonds that we originally identified as our loser. So clubs was our working suit. Our issue cards were the Jack 7 of clubs. Our technique was trumping, and we had to realize that it was an exception to pulling trump hand because we have to lead some trump in the dummy. Right? The key is that remembering the first card led. Now here's your homework assignment, and you can do this without telling your partner you're doing it. You don't need a partner to do it, but I want you to start working on memorizing the first trick. Memorizing the first trick. We often can remember the honors on the first trick, right? We're in trick 7, trick 8, trick 10, trick 11, right? We can often go back to the first trick and remember the honors played. But what I want you to get, just part of your habit, what you do on every bridge hand, is whether you're dummy, whether you're defender, or whether you're declarer, is write down the opening trick. Not just the opening lead, but the opening trick, right? You need to remember it went 4 of spades, 2 of spades, queen of spades, 10 of spades. You also need to remember the 2, okay? That the 2 was in the dummy. Because it might be that West leads the 4 of spades and then follows with the 2 of spades. But if you didn't remember the 2 or the 3 of spades, right? And now you're going back and saying, oh, what was in the dummy? What was that first spot card? So you're used to writing down the lead, the opening lead in your logbook, if you're still keeping score. I'm not sure now that we're all online that we still use those books. But in addition to the first card led, you want to know the card from dummy that's played, the spot card from partner if they don't play an honor, and the spot card that declare played with, depending on what your seat situation is. And this is a great exercise to do when you're dummy, because you don't have anything else to think about, right? So maybe start this homework exercise as dummy and just force yourself to memorize the first trick played. Lots of clues in that when you go back to it. So that takes care of our mini lesson today. I will be seeing you online. Have a great day.